Hi, Flash Recaps here. Today, I am going to explain the new Turkish drama, You Are the One I Love, and it's about a young soldier named Arkan from an extremely wealthy family. At the same time, there's a shocking situation unfolding. Arkan decided to marry a village girl in order to protect her from her own brothers, who want to kill her to preserve their honor after she was kidnapped. And the series starts with Arkan in the army, running alongside his friend Kadir during training. Suddenly, Kadir hesitates and becomes afraid to jump. Arkan goes back to him, encouraging him to be brave, to steady his heart, and not to fear anything. However, it becomes clear that Kadir is actually terrified of heights. He has a real phobia. Arkan climbs up and takes Kadir's bag to help him, but as soon as he does, the commander notices what's happening. The commander storms over angrily, scolding them because what they did breaks the rules. As punishment, he orders Arkan to run alone. After finishing his punishment, Arkan is told to report to the commander's office. Despite being the son of a very rich family, Arkan proves himself hardworking and disciplined. He's not spoiled at all. After completing his punishment, he goes to the office where the commander gives him an unusual task. He must take a piano, try to remember any children's song, and come the next day to a charity event organized by the commander's wife to perform it. Arkan protests, saying he doesn't remember any of those songs, but the commander orders him to go anyway. Later, Arkan sits in the room trying to play and sing anything he can remember. Suddenly, his friends gather around him. They start singing along, even dancing together. But in the middle of their fun, something strange happens. An earthquake strikes. The lights go out, everything starts collapsing, and chaos spreads everywhere. Back at Arkan's house, the servants rush in panic to inform Assad, Arkan's father. The entire household gathers as the alarming news spreads. When Assad hears that there was an earthquake in the area where Arkan is stationed, Arkan's mother completely breaks down. She panics and becomes overwhelmed with fear for her son. Assad immediately asks his daughter to call Tahir, Arkan's brother, while he tries desperately to reach Arkan himself, but fails. Meanwhile, Tahir is sitting at a bar with a friend, who is also his business partner. The friend keeps talking about Arkan, saying that their father should hand over all the company's work to Tahir since Arkan is still young. He adds that the father favors Arkan more, which fuels Tahir's jealousy. It becomes obvious that Tahir deeply envies his younger brother because he is the favorite. Suddenly, Tahir feels uneasy, then receives a call from his sister. She tells him about the earthquake in the area where Arkan is. Shocked, he immediately heads home. At home, Arkan's mother is in complete panic. She blames Assad, shouting that it's all his fault for allowing Arkan to serve in the army so far away. When Tahir arrives, his father angrily asks where he has been. Tahir replies that he was working, but his mother continues blaming Assad. Tahir steps in, defending the situation, saying that Arkan himself chose to serve there. But the mother refuses to calm down. She tells Assad that if anything happens to her son, he will be responsible. Meanwhile, at the disaster site, everything is destroyed. Soldiers begin rescuing those trapped under the rubble. Suddenly, they find Arkan alive beneath the debris. He is pulled out along with Kadir, and they immediately begin treating their injuries. The commander decides to send troops to rescue the villagers affected by the earthquake. Arkan insists on joining the mission, asking for permission to help save people. But the commander refuses, saying he doesn't want to get into trouble with Arkan's father. Arkan insists firmly. He wants to complete his military service with full honor. The commander warns him that what he's asking for is dangerous and not something to take lightly. Arkan then reveals the real reason behind his determination. He came here specifically to continue the path of his friend Mohammed, who died as a martyr. It's clear that Arkan is deeply affected by his friend's death. At the same time, a maid is seen crying. And here comes the shocking truth. Her son Mohammed, the one who died, was Arkan's closest friend. They grew up together. Later, Arkan rides with the commander and the other soldiers toward the affected village. The commander orders him to go down and check if there are any injured people. As Arkan walks through the devastated area, he spots a small child sitting on the ground, his leg injured. Arkan rushes toward him to help, but the child calmly tells him, "I'm okay. When the earthquake happened, I managed to escape." Suddenly, the child's father arrives, thanking Arkan for helping his son. But then he reveals something alarming. Armed men have come to steal their crops in the middle of all this chaos. Arkan immediately asks if anyone is still living in the upper village. The man tells him that no one is left there, except for one girl and her sick mother. Without hesitation, Arkan decides to go up and check on them himself. Using his radio, he reports the presence of the armed thieves. As he moves through the area, Arkan suddenly spots a masked figure stealing supplies. He chases after them, but the person quickly runs into a house. When Arkan follows, he's shocked to discover the truth. The thief is actually the girl living there. Her name is Dickley. We learn that her mother is very ill, and Dickel is the only one taking care of her. Arkan approaches the house, shouting for whoever is inside to come out. When Dickel finally steps out, she tells him to lower his weapon. Arkan refuses, insisting that someone has been stealing the villagers' crops and that he must arrest them. Dickley looks him straight in the eyes and says, "I'm not a thief." But Arkan doesn't believe her. He accuses her directly, and she admits it. "Yes, it was me," she says. Then, with tears in her eyes, she explains that her mother is seriously sick. She needed medicine and food. That's why she did it. She begs him not to arrest her, but Arkan softens. He tells her he would never do that, and that if she had only asked, he would have helped her. He suggests taking her and her mother to the main village, where they can receive proper care. But Dickley refuses. She explains that she has 2 older brothers, and they are currently away working. If they come back and don't find her, there will be serious consequences. Arkan insists on helping her anyway, promising to find a way. Trying to show gratitude, Dickel offers to prepare food for him, assuming he must be hungry. Arkan smiles slightly and admits, "I actually am hungry," thanking her. But outside, danger is waiting. The armed men who were stealing crops are watching from a distance. They decide to wait until Arkan leaves before making their move. They've discovered that Dickel's brothers are smugglers, and they plan to kidnap her and take her out of the country. They agree to strike as soon as Arkan is gone. The next day, back in the city, Tahir is sitting outside when his sister comes to him, noticing his worry. He tells her he's afraid something might happen to Arkan. She reassures him, saying Arkan will be fine. But Tahir replies bitterly, "If anything happens to him, father will blame me, just like always." It becomes clear that Tahir suffers from an illness and has a complicated, strained relationship with his father. Inside the house, the entire family is gathered, anxious and waiting. Finally, Assad receives news that Arkan is alive. Relieved, he immediately asks to speak with him, but the commander informs him that Arkan has gone out on a patrol, one he volunteered for. This makes Assad furious. He orders the commander to contact him as soon as Arkan returns. Meanwhile, Arkan's mother is deeply upset, angry that her son is risking his life so recklessly. Back in the village, Arkan sits with Dickley as she prepares food. She speaks to him with guilt, saying she feels ashamed for what she stole. Arkan reassures her, telling her it wasn't truly theft. She did it for her mother. He promises that when he returns, he'll repay everything she took. Then he tells her something that surprises her. He will send a doctor to treat her mother. Dickel's eyes light up with hope as she thanks him sincerely. At the same time, Arkan's fiancé lies in bed, crying, afraid of losing him. As Arkan continues talking with Dickley, he asks her age. She tells him she's 20 years old, but she has never left the village. Because of something that happened in the past, her brothers have forbidden her from going outside. She can't even read or write. This makes Arkan furious. He says that when her brothers return, he will speak to them and make them understand that they cannot treat her this way. But Dickel becomes terrified, begging him not to get involved with her brothers. After serving him food, she gently asks him to leave. Arkan walks away, deeply disturbed by how her brothers have treated her, but as he leaves, he runs into the armed men. They confront him, raising their weapons. Arkan points his gun at them and demands to know what they're doing. They tell him there are 3 of them and that he's as good as dead. They warn him not to interfere. They're taking the girl and leaving. Arkan refuses. A gunfight breaks out. Bullets fly from both sides. Arkan runs toward the house trying to protect Dickel, but he gets shot in the arm. Inside, Dickel is terrified for him. When Arkan enters the house, he's hit with a devastating sight. Dickel's mother is dead, killed by the gunfire. Dickel breaks down in uncontrollable tears, but Arkan quickly tells her there's no time to cry. She has to run. He promises to distract the attackers so she can escape, but Dickel refuses to leave him behind, saying she won't allow him to die. Meanwhile, the attackers decide not to risk staying any longer. Fearing someone might arrive, they grab Dickel and flee with her. At the same time, Arkan collapses, on the verge of death. As he loses consciousness, he sees Mohammed, his fallen friend. Arkan asks him, "Did I die?" Mohammed replies, "No, but you will if you don't hold on now." Then he tells him one last thing. "When you go back home, tell my mother to forgive me." Arkan slowly opens his eyes. At that exact moment, Dickel is being taken by the gang to an abandoned place. Meanwhile, an ambulance has already reached Arkan. His commander stands beside him, reassuring him that his injury is not serious. But Arkan is deeply troubled. Despite being safe, he can't forgive himself. He failed to protect Dickel. He begs the commander to find her, insisting that she was the one who saved his life. The commander tells him they are already searching, but so far, there's no trace of her. Still, he reassures him, promising they will find her. The commander then suggests calling Arkan's father, who is extremely worried. Arkan quickly refuses. He doesn't want them to know he's injured. When he speaks to his parents, they are full of concern, but he reassures them that he's fine. His mother hears the ambulance sounds in the background and questions him, but Arkan calmly lies, saying they are just helping earthquake victims. She asks to speak with him more, but Arkan abruptly ends the call. Trying to ease the situation, his mother tells Burson that Arkan is just busy and happy she's there, but can't talk right now. Burson politely excuses herself with her family, planning to meet them later at the event. Back at the abandoned place, Dickel is held by the gang. One of the men asks to go to the bathroom, while another is injured and barely conscious. Another man approaches Dickel, getting closer and trying to touch her. She resists fiercely, but he steps even closer, saying coldly, "Since the soldier is dead, anyone can come near you now." At the hospital, Arkan is with Kadir, who suddenly gets a call. Kadir tells Arkan the news. They found Dickel. She's at the hospital, with her brothers. Arkan feels immediate relief, finally able to breathe again. But then the phone rings again. It's Bursan. Arkan gets visibly annoyed, so Kadir answers instead, joking that she still thinks Arkan is someone she'll marry. Arkan explains that they've known each other since childhood. When he finally speaks to her, she tells him she was terrified with worry and knew he wouldn't be able to call, so she called him instead. He reassures her that he's fine. She tells him they'll be reunited in just a week, but it's clear from his face, he's distracted. After ending the call, Kadir reminds him that she was his lover for years. But Arkan responds coldly, "That love is over? I don't feel anything for her anymore." Determined, Arkan asks Kadir to help him get up. He wants to check on Dickel. But when they reach her room, they are met by her brothers. The brothers aggressively throw them out. One of them demands, "How do you know my sister to come looking for her like this?" Arkan tries to stay calm, explaining that he's the soldier and didn't mean anything wrong. But they shut him down, saying it's none of his business. This is their problem. Arkan is shocked by their reaction. He turns to Kadir, wondering how they can think this way after everything she's been through. Meanwhile, inside the room, her brothers confront Dickel. One of them grabs her violently, hits her, and throws her to the ground. He demands to know how she knows Arkan. Dickel cries out, swearing she has done nothing wrong. The other brother, slightly calmer, tries to intervene, but the first insists they must ask the doctor. After all, she was taken to the mountains, so they know what must have happened. Then comes a chilling decision. They say they will do what they've done before. A flashback reveals a dark past. When Dickel was younger, her sister fell into a well, hinting at a tragic and possibly suspicious history. Later, Dickel leaves the hospital. As she lifts her eyes, she sees Arkan watching her. They return home. Inside, her brother Javan helps her wash, while the other brother prepares a weapon. They have decided to kill her. Just before carrying it out, Dickel asks for one final wish. To visit her mother's grave. They agree. But suddenly there's a knock on the door. When they open it, they find Arkan and Kadir standing there. They came to check on her. Her brothers explode with anger, threatening Arkan to leave immediately or someone else will die. Arkan refuses, shouting back, trying to force his way inside, but they block him. They accuse Dickel of being with men in the mountains, claiming they already know what happened and will deal with it. They warn that if she leaves, it will only be to her husband's house. Kadir pulls Arkan away to prevent things from escalating further. As they head back to the car, Arkan is deeply worried. They might kill her. Inside the house, the brothers make their final decision. There's no time for her last wish anymore. One of them raises the weapon, ready to kill her. At that exact moment, Arkan bursts in. He stops everything and declares, "I'm ready to marry her." The brother looks at him suspiciously. "A marriage in court?" Arkan answers firmly, "Yes, I'll speak to my commander today." He hands over his ID and gives them a deadline. "You have 24 hours. If I don't marry her, you can kill her." Arkan tries to take Dekal with him immediately, but her brother refuses, warning him not to trick them or take her anywhere else. He sends Javan along with them, making it clear if the marriage doesn't happen in time, he will kill her, no matter where she is. The four of them leave together in the car. Arkan looks at Dekal, trying to reassure her silently. They arrive at the military camp. Javan waits outside while Arkan goes in to speak with the commander. He explains everything that happened. The commander becomes furious, saying it's unacceptable for them to treat a soldier like this and that Arkan shouldn't have rushed into such a decision. He promises to handle the brothers, but Arkan stops him. "I don't want anything from you, except one thing. Finish the marriage procedures for me." The commander agrees. He tells Arkan to have Dekal complete the medical tests while he arranges everything else. Arkan goes back to Dekal and quietly tells her, "Your brother is watching us from outside, so don't call me commander anymore." Arkan looks at her gently and says, "Call me Arkan, just Arkan." Then, with a softer tone, he offers his condolences for her mother and promises, "I'll take you to her grave." He explains something important. This marriage won't be a real one. But Dekal misunderstands him at first and says nervously, "My brothers will never let me go." Arkan shakes his head and clarifies, "You got it wrong. I will marry you, but we won't complete the marriage. It'll only be on paper." Dekal looks confused, unable to fully grasp what he means. He continues, "We'll get married, and then I'll divorce you later." Her face fills with fear as she asks, "And what will happen to me after that? What about my brothers?" Arkan reassures her, "Don't think about the divorce now. First, we'll get married." Trying to hold on to a small dream, Dekal shyly asks him to bring her a wedding dress. Arkan hesitates, then says, "I don't think I can find one here. We might have to marry in these clothes." At that moment, the commander calls Arkan to come inside and complete the paperwork with the witnesses. Before leaving, Arkan shows Dekal where to go and tells her someone will guide her to the room. That night, Arkan and Kadir sneak into a dress shop. Arkan quietly takes a wedding dress, but instead of stealing it, he leaves money behind. He does it just to fulfill Dekal's small wish. Elsewhere, Bursan's mother is furious, telling her daughter, "Arkan doesn't even care about you, he doesn't even notice you." She tries to convince her that Arkan no longer loves her like before, but Bursan stubbornly refuses to believe it. "No, he still loves me. I know he does." Back at the camp, Arkan returns with the dress. When he enters, he finds Dekal singing softly to children. He pauses, surprised, then smiles and says, "I didn't expect that. Your voice is beautiful." He asks her to come with him and shows her the dress. Dekal's face lights up with pure joy. She's finally going to wear a wedding dress. Arkan reassures her, "Tomorrow we'll get married, and all of this will be over." As she puts on the dress, memories flood her mind. A painful flashback reveals how she once stabbed a man in self-defense and escaped from him. Arkan walks in, looking at her with quiet admiration. "The dress looks beautiful on you." He asks her to wear a red ribbon, but Dekal hesitates. "My brothers said I'm not allowed to wear it. They say I don't deserve something like that." Arkan immediately responds, firmly, "Don't ever say that about yourself again. They're the ones who are wrong, not you." He gently places the red ribbon on her himself. Then, together, they go to get married. The witnesses stand by as their marriage is officially declared. After the ceremony, Arkan and Dekal step outside. They greet her brothers and tension fills the air. Then Arkan tells Dekal he's taking her somewhere. He made her a promise, and he intends to keep it. Meanwhile, Inji walks down the stairs as reporters gather around her, asking if she has a moment to speak. She ignores them at first, then joins her niece and asks why everyone is just standing around. She asks Nilufar to guide them to their seats before finally addressing the press. Standing confidently, she says, "As an educational center, we will never abandon anyone in need, especially women and children. We will always strive to do better." She thanks everyone for their donations. At the same time, Assad sits in his office, visibly furious. He crumples a paper and throws it aside. Tahir enters, saying they came for signatures and that the secretary has brought the report. Assad angrily asks, "Who decided on this number? This budget is nothing. They want to put children in military centers that aren't even prepared. They need food, supplies, education, and we said we'd take care of everything. Arkan will start working there at the end of the week. So tell me, what is this amount supposed to cover?" Tahir explains that a large portion of the budget went to the hotel and he thought the rest would be enough as a contribution. Assad immediately orders the assistant to increase the budget, but Tahir protests, saying construction was about to begin. Assad dismisses him coldly. "We'll discuss it when Arkan returns." Tahir grows frustrated, insisting they're losing time and everything is ready to move forward. But Assad remains firm, repeating, "When Arkan comes back, we'll revisit it." Tahir finally snaps. "Why should we wait? If Arkan has a right in this company, then I do too." Assad cuts him off sharply. "That's enough, Tahir. I said no, and that means no." Tahir feels completely worthless. He looks at his father's pen and says bitterly, "It feels like this pen is more valuable to you than I am." He storms out, calling someone on the phone. "Just wait one more week. I know my brother will ruin the company in 2 days. And then I'll step in and fix everything." After hanging up, he walks through the company, visibly unstable. Suddenly, he collapses, suffering a seizure. Everyone rushes toward him as his father arrives, shouting at everyone before ordering them back to work. Then he looks at Tahir and says harshly, "In your condition, so you're still chasing the chairman's seat?" Meanwhile, Arkan and Dikle arrive at her mother's grave. Dikle breaks down in tears, speaking softly. "Look, Mom, Arkan kept his promise. He brought me to you. He didn't leave me in my brother's hands, and he even married me." She notices the grave marker and asks what's written on it. Arkan tells her it's just the grave number. She asks him for a pen and says, "Can you write my mother's name on it, so she won't feel alone? My brother will never come here again." Arkan nods gently. "I will, but I won't leave it like this. I'll fix the grave properly." She looks at him in disbelief. "Really?" He smiles. "Really?" He places a flower on the grave. Dikle looks at him with deep gratitude and says, "I don't know how to repay you for all of this." Arkan replies softly, "I'm just doing what I can, and I'm happy to see you smile again." Elsewhere, Inji continues speaking proudly. "You all know my son, Arkan Genji, is serving in the earthquake zone. Here at the association, we're collecting donations while he is out there helping people, and when he returns, he will be engaged to Bursan." She gestures toward Bursan, standing beside her, and continues, "At the right time, Bursan will take over the management of the association. She and Arkan will be the public face of our charity work." Arkan and Dikle walk side by side. He smiles and says, "What do you think? Should we take a picture for the memory? The background here looks really nice." She agrees shyly. Arkan takes several photos of her, then shows them to her, saying, "They look really beautiful." After that, they take a picture together, then continue walking. Meanwhile, we move to Nilufar and Fatouche. Fatouche says, "I really thought you'd go back to America after the divorce. There are so many places that would welcome a successful manager like you." Nilufar replies, "My father doesn't think that way." Then Inji steps in, saying, "Of course he doesn't, and I don't want that either. It's too far." Back to Arkan. He is now surrounded by children. He smiles and tells them, "I'll be your teacher this week." He begins getting to know them warmly. Dikle calls out to him, saying she's going to the laundry room, but Arkan stops her and says, "No, Inji told you to stay here. Didn't you promise the commander you'd learn reading and writing?" She nods. He continues, "Then this is your chance. Stay with me and help me until I'm done. Then you can start learning." Dikle's face lights up with happiness. She sits among the children, overjoyed. She can hardly believe she's finally going to learn. We return to the charity event. Inji greets guests warmly, thanking them and their families for their donations. She leaves with Bursan as they walk together. Meanwhile, Saren and another man talk about the engagement. He says that Uncle Assad won't delay the matter any longer. Saren replies, "Just don't upset Bursan. The girl can't handle more." He responds, "Arkan doesn't even know what he wants anymore." Then he walks away, clearly tired of the event. Back to Arkan, he continues teaching the children. Then he goes to Dikle, gently holding her hand as he teaches her. She looks at him with admiration, her feelings toward him growing stronger. After finishing, Arkan tells the children, "I'll see you tomorrow at the same time." Then he turns to Dikle and says, "I'm going to the restaurant. Will you eat with me or stay with the children?" She replies, "Go to your room. I prepared something for you." Arkin goes to his room, noticing her wedding dress. Soon she brings in a tray of food and says, "This is wedding food. It's part of our traditions." He smiles and says, "You didn't have to go through all this trouble." He starts eating and says, "This is amazing. Really?" Then he tells her to sit. As they talk, he asks her, "Why did your brothers keep you locked away? What really happened?" But Daikel smiles softly and says, "Today is the happiest day of my life. Let's not talk about that today." He quickly apologizes, not wanting to upset her. He continues eating and jokingly says, "The one who marries you will be very lucky." She looks at him and says, "But you're the one who married me." He smiles slightly and replies, "Yes, but I mean in the future, when you marry a real husband." She looks confused and hurt. "What do you mean? Aren't we married?" Arkin explains again, "Yes, but I told you, I married you only to protect you from your brothers. After that, I'll divorce you." Daikel is shocked. "So, you're going to leave me? Then maybe I should just go back to my brothers now." Her voice trembles as she continues, "I'm not a toy. Your words keep changing. What should I believe? What should I not believe?" Arkin tries to explain, "All I care about is your safety, but you don't understand me." He asks her to sit down. She replies firmly, "I'll sit, only if you promise you won't divorce me." After a pause, he gives in. "Fine, sit. I won't divorce you." She looks at him seriously and asks, "Promise?" He answers, "Promise." Then he asks her if she wanted to say something. She nods and says, "Yes, I want to stay here tonight." He immediately refuses, "No, you can't. This is a military area. I don't want you to feel unsafe." She gently says, "When you finish your service, we can have a home together." Arkin hesitates, then says, "Let me just finish this week, then we'll see everything slowly." A week passes. Their service ends. Arkan and Kadir say their goodbyes. Kadir tells him he'll stay in Istanbul for a month, then travel to England to marry Fatima. Arkan offers to help him find a house and a job, telling him to call anytime he needs anything. Then Arkan goes to Dikli. She tells him, "Everything is ready. The clothes, the marriage papers, everything is in this bag." Arkan looks at her and says, "You'll stay here with the commander. You'll work at his house. He promised me he won't hand you over to your brothers." Dikli is stunned. "You lied to me. You promised you wouldn't divorce me." He replies, "I won't divorce you, but I can't take you with me. I'm traveling to England." He adds, "Don't worry, I arranged everything for you." But she shakes her head firmly. "I don't accept this. I'll go back to my brothers and tell them my husband left me and didn't take me with him." Arkin gets frustrated and says, "Dikli, I'm not really your husband, I just saved your life, and instead of thanking me, you're making things harder." Her voice breaks as she says, "My mother is gone, my father is gone, and if you're not with me, my life has no meaning. I'd rather die than go back." She turns and walks away. Back at the house, Inji helps Assad adjust his clothes. She tells him she has spoken to Bersin's family, and they will arrive soon. She suggests they discuss the engagement immediately. Assad agrees, saying they must finalize this today because Hamdi is about to take legal action against the company, and their future depends on this marriage. Inji adds confidently, "Arkan promised me he'll come back and fix everything." At that moment, Arkan arrives. The entire family greets him warmly, happy to see him. But then comes the shock. Dikli walks in with him. Everyone freezes in disbelief. They all ask, "Who is she?" Arkan looks at them seriously and says, "There's something important I need to tell you." And here part 1 comes to an end. Subscribe for more video like this one, tap the bell icon, and don't forget to like the video. Thanks for watching.